So many examples I can quote from the history. I will just quote a few examples only of the past 100 years. From 1900 to 2000 Christian era, only the 100 years that went away. From 1917 to 1922, there was the Russian Revolution that took place. And in the Russian Revolution, it is reported that 9 million human beings were killed. I'm asking, were the Russians fighting jihad? Did the Quran command them to kill those 9 million people? Neither jihad was involved, nor Quran was involved, neither were the Muslims involved. This is terrorism. 1924 to 1953, there was a civil war in Russia. And according to one report, 50 million people were killed. And according to another report, 20 million people were killed. Neither the Quran was involved, nor the Muslims were involved, nor was the term jihad involved. This is terrorism. In the First World War, between 1914 and 1918, according to US War Department, 8.5 million American soldiers were killed. And according to Encyclopedia Americana, 12.5 million civilians were killed. Altogether, 12.5 and 8.5 is 21 million people lost their life in the First World War. Neither the Quran was involved, nor the Muslims were involved, nor the term jihad was involved. This is terrorism. In Second World War, can you imagine the figure of the Second World War, of the death toll of the human beings, is recorded in the Guinness Book of World Record. The Guinness Book of World Record has recorded the figure of the human death toll. It says 56 million people died in the Second World War. Neither Quran was involved, nor jihad was involved, nor Muslims were involved. This is terrorism. On 6th August 1945, on Hiroshima, America with its B-29 bomber plane, it dropped the little boy atom bomb. And on that spot, 80,000 people died, innocent people. This is terrorism. On 9th August 1945, America drops another atom bomb at Nagasaki. 240,000 people died. This is terrorism. Hitler, who claimed himself to be a Christian, he insinuated, he burnt alive 6 million Jews. This is terrorism. In the first Gulf War, that was fought between 1991 and 1993, according to Boston Globe, according to the report by Boston Globe, it says 5 million children, small children, not men, elderly men, 5 million children died in Iraq after US implemented its embargo on Iraq. This is terrorism. In the war that is fought in Iraq now, more than 1 million children have lost their life. This is terrorism. John L. Esposito is a professor in the Georgetown University. He's a professor in the United States, Washington, D.C. He's a professor of religion and international politics. He has authored a book by the name, The Islamic Threat, Myth or Reality, that was published from the Oxford Press in the year 1992 from New York. On page 39 of that book, he says that the Jews and Christians were practicing their religion more when they were ruled by the Muslims, while they could not practice their own religion, while they were either ruling themselves or either of them were ruling each other. Then he says, how can still somebody call Islam as a threat to peace? According to www.cursor.org, a website, it says, in retaliation to September 11, when America started bombardment on Afghanistan, 41 to 47 people were dying daily in Afghanistan. This is terrorism. All this is terrorism. Show me one example when the Prophet ﷺ fought battles and the Muslims fought battle and all these things happened. There are various kinds of terrorism. This is a terrorism that takes life. There are other terrorisms also. There is economic terrorism. What is economic terrorism? According to a survey report published in Times of India on 2nd January 2006, Monday, on page number 3, the report says that the total world population, suppose if there are only 100 people living in the world, Out of those 100 people, only 5 people live in the United States of America. That is, America has 5% of the total world population. And only 5% of the total world population is controlling 40% of the resources of Earth. I say this is economic terrorism. The debt, total debt that India has to pay, the loan India has taken, 6,01,477 crore rupees. That is the total debt India has to pay. And the interest rate we are paying for it every year is 93,378 crore rupees, according to the report of the Ministry of Finance, Government of India for the year 2004-2005. I am asking, Allah said in the Quran, in Surah Baqarah, Surah number 2, ayah number 275 to ayah number 279, ban interest. Let us have interest-free economy. If 93,378 crore rupees that India is paying only as interest is invested in one single state of India, and that single amount is repeated 30 years in 30 states, India within 30 years, next 30 years, will become the superpower of the world. This is economic terrorism. In America, according to the National Crime Victimization Survey Bureau, the US Justice Department, it says for the year 1996, that 2,173 women were raped daily in America, which is equal to about 2 women being raped just in 1 minute. And the latest survey says for 2003 and 2004, almost 2 women in 1 hour. In England, the leading country, supposed to be the advanced country of the world, it has got a ratio of about 36 women being raped per day, according to the Bureau Justice. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, 41 women are raped daily in Australia. According to our motherland, unfortunately, India, the National Crime Bureau of Statistics of India say for the year 2003 and 2004, 15,500 women in India are raped in 1 year. And out of those 15,500, 13,378 rapists are those who raped the victims whom they knew very well. This is terrorism. According to the National Crime Bureau Statistics, for the year from 1998 to 2001 for India, almost on an average, 7,000 women were burnt alive for dowry. This is terrorism. And jihad is against all these kinds of terrorism in the right perspective. I would like to conclude my talk by reciting and translating the ayat with which I started my talk from the Glorious Qur'an, from Surah Hajj, Surah number 22, ayah number 78, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Jahidu fillahi haqqa jihadihi. Do jihad in the way of Allah as it shall be done. Huwaj tabakum. Verily Allah has selected you Muslims. Wama ja'ala alaykum fid dini min haraj. In the religion of Islam, there is no compulsion upon you. If you want to serve Islam, serve it. If you don't want to, no problem. On the day of judgment, you will be held accountable for it. Wama ja'ala alaykum fid dini min haraj. Millata abikum Ibrahim. Establish all of you on the millat, on the community of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Huwa sammakumul muslimin min qablu. For verily from the beginning, he was a Muslim. وَفِي هَذَا لَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ شَهِيدًا عَلَيْكُمْ. And most certainly, my messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a witness over your deeds. وَتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. And all of you Muslims have been made a witness against other people. فَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. Then establish salah and pay zakah. وَاتَصِمُوا بِاللَّهِ. And hold to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by following the Quran. Huwa mawlakum. He is the best to protect you. فَنَيْمَ الْمَوْلَاهِ وَنَيْمَ النَّصِيرِ. What a best protector and what a best helper for you. وَآخِرُ دَعْوَانَا أَنِ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ.